Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Bite Sized Insight with Monique, episode number 10. Today we're going to talk about St. Patrick. Just happened, just celebrated. What is up with this holiday anyways, right? All we know it is leprechauns and four-leaf clovers, beer, all that stuff. But actually, I want to give you a little insight into who St. Patrick was. The story is St. Patrick was actually British. He was kidnapped from his hometown and sold into slavery. So he literally was trafficked, you could say. Literally, Patrick was trafficked. He was 16 years old when this took place, and it was around 400 AD is when he was taken captive. And he had written his own memoir, and it was entitled The Confession. So you can go check that out. And for 6 years, he was a slave. So he talks about in those years, he prayed 100 times a day, all the time, for him to be rescued. And one night, he had a dream. And because he had spent a lot of time fasting and praying even. And this really was where he developed his relationship with God, was even in the midst of this situation. He cried out to God, and he said how he heard in his sleep a voice saying, "It is well that you fast. Soon you will go down to your own country." And again, after a short while, I heard a voice saying to me, "See, your ship is ready." Okay, so that's what we heard God say. So what happened was he escaped, and he traveled 200 miles across the country to get to the coast, and he found a ship that was sailing back to Britain. They denied him passage at first, but they went ahead and let him on, and he eventually got back home to his family. So at 16 years old, he was kidnapped, he was trafficked, and for 6 years he was a slave to a chieftain named Milchu. So when he got back home, what he did was he started studying scriptures. He had a desire to know God and to be closer to God when he got back home. And he felt a call of God to go back to Ireland to go minister to these people, especially those who kidnapped him. And he says that he had a dream, and in his dream, there was a letter, and it said the voice of the Irish. And a voice came to him from the letter saying, "Holy boy, please return to us. We need you." And that's what prompted him and convinced his church that he needed to be a missionary to Ireland. So he literally brought the gospel to Ireland. Now, at this time, you have to remember, it was just pagan city. It was ruled by druids. Okay. It was chaos. There was civil unrest, all kinds of paganism. They worshiped so many different gods. This is the environment that he was in, and this is the environment of Ireland at the time. And he literally brought the gospel to Ireland. He laid the foundation for missionaries to come. He ministered to the king. He ministered to high priests, pagan priests is what he did. And because of him, that is how the gospel came to Ireland. And that is why, even though he was not Irish, but he is recognized by the Irish because of what he did. So that is a little insight into him. He, for 30 years about, was a minister to Ireland. He planted over 300 churches, and he personally baptized over 120,000 Irishmen. And yeah, and they just say that he really understood the cost of discipleship, and he understood the reward that was going to come with it, and how encouraging his life actually was. So this is Bite-Sized Insight with Monique. Just to give you a little tidbit on St. Patrick, who he was, what he did. If you have any suggestions, ideas, questions, topics you'd like me to cover, please go ahead and send an email to info@moniquedeleon.com, and I'll be more than happy to do some research, dig into it. And yes, until next time.